Hello and welcome to the Battle Line Podcast, where we have conversations on that collision of space between community, faith, and culture. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Satterlee, and here with me is the world famous editor of Peer Magazine, my co-host on this podcast, my co-host in life, Jamie Satterlee. Jamie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing great. You forgot your line. Usually your line is the sun is shining.
Yes, but the sun is shining, but it is not warm outside.
That's right.
We've had a cold snap. I do not like it. Alexa told me it was 37 degrees when I left the house this morning. That's not okay with me a week away from May.
Right.
So
we also have with us here the world famous co-host and producer, the one who makes this whole thing run, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, but I am definitely wearing my sandals regardless of the weather. I am not retreating back to boots and a jacket.
That's right. We will not lose ground.
No.
Right. We will never surrender.
That's right. So today's episode's pretty exciting. Mother's Day is approaching.
Hey.
So we're going to take a look. Yeah. Yay for Mother's Day. We're going to take a look at some famous and some infamous moms from TV and movies and talk a little bit about how the coronavirus has impacted women and moms in particular. So let's get right into it because I'm excited about some of these people we're going to talk about today.
As the only mother on this show, Captain Jamie, we're going to be relying heavily on your expertise in these areas.
I would not consider myself, and I am a mom, not an expert.
I think, isn't that what all moms are required to say?
Probably. We all think we're terrible.
Say, Moms, you're a hero. They're like, I'm not a hero, but you are. All moms are. All right. Well, yes. So we're going to talk about the idea for this podcast today was we were going to say, let's talk about world famous moms. There's that term again, world famous, in film and TV shows and stuff like that. Good moms and perhaps some moms that are listed in the bad list, bad moms. You do not want to be like them. If you Google this, there are there are hundreds of lists of your favorite mom on TV or movie or anything like that. So we're going to go through. We have 10 listed here. Again, a top 10 list. We divided this up by moms who we consider good, moms who we consider bad, and then the last three we're going to say are moms who are on the fence. And it's up to us and you listeners, wherever you are out there, to assign them a side of the fence. No straddling the fence here. Good mom, bad mom. All right? Also, do not DM us, do not send emails to us if your favorite mom on TV and movie is not listed here. We picked ones who we thought would be well known by the listeners of this podcast. So like I've already had people hit me up and say, all right, why are you not talking about
me? It was me. I hit him up.
Well, some people hit me up about Seinfeld. How come you're not putting Seinfeld's mom in there or George
Seinfeld
Costanza?
Has a mom?
Oh, all those emails are about to go to Jamie Saturday.
You can always comment when we post this up on social media. We'll have all those social media posts. Comment in there and let us know. Did we talk about your favorite moms? Did we miss them? Matt definitely missed some of my favorites, but that's okay.
Name one of the women moms on here, Captain Jamie, that I didn't mention.
Well, I will say that there were some bad moms that I think you left off the list.
Like one.
Mommy Dearest.
Okay. Yeah, you're kicking it old school.
Yes.
You really are.
Yes. My parents made sure I was indoctrinated in the classics. So Mommy Dearest, no more wire hangers. Come on.
That's
How can
true.
Yeah, come on. So
nothing
Mommy
says
Dearest,
Happy Mother's Day when you're beating your child with a wire hanger.
That's right. Also, Mother Gothel from Tangled. She literally locked her up. Well, she stole her for one, stole her and locked her in a tower. Did not let her go. It's problematic.
Well, let's get into it. Again, this is not a top 10 list. These are just 10 moms we want to talk about. First, let's go to the good moms. The American League, the National League of Moms. Here it is. The first one, we're going to give it to Helen Parr from The Incredibles. Now, you may not know her as Helen Parr, but this is Elastigirl or Mrs. Incredible from Disney Pixar's The Incredibles. All right. So you know her as Elastigirl. Here's why she's an incredible mom. She juggles 3 kids while being a superhero.
Also, and 3 kids with superpowers. So
one of the kids,
wild.
Yes, and one of the kids is Jack Jack, which if you have seen The Incredibles, you know Jack Jack is crazy.
It's a hot mess.
It's crazy. All right.
Also, one of the things about moms, and I guess it's good for her because her arms stretch, but you're always trying to keep up with your kid. And one of the Dash is incredibly fast. So poor lady. She has her hands full just on the mom front. Not to mention that she's a superhero in her own right.
A teenage girl who can go invisible. I mean, that's just a nightmare waiting to happen. So actually, the internet says they love Mrs. Incredible as a mom because out of all of the moms, they said this is the one that's most shaped like a mom, which I think is a little offensive.
Definitely, she and I share that thigh action, hip action.
She's a great mom because she protects her kids, like Cam Jamie said. She's a superhero. Also, at the end of the first Incredibles, remember when she's trying to save her son Jack, she lets her husband throw her as a projectile. She is very high on the protection list of kids. So let me ask you, moms out there, and Jamie, our straw man,
resident mom
of the podcast. Protecting your kids, that's probably number one on the list of being a good mom.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure, which is why some of these other ones that we're going to talk about later, and like Mommy Dearest and Mother Gothel, are so terrible, because it's like unfathomable to us that you would not do everything you could to protect your children. And I think, that's why that whole mommy bear thing, mama bear, it's a thing, because we want to protect our children, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. And, we want to see them thrive and be whole. And, they say it's so like cliche and whatever, but they say like to be a mom is to have your heart walk around outside your body. And so, yes, I probably also would jump out of a plane if I thought it would save the life of my child.
For sure. If you let your husband throw you into the air to save your kid.
Also, if you know Susanna, that's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility.
Jesus said, we talk a lot about sacrifice, and moms sacrifice a lot for not just their kids, but just moms are great with that sacrifice. And Jesus says, greater love has no one than this, that he or she would lay down his life for her friends. And you definitely see that in mom, Mrs. Incredible, who is time and time again putting herself in danger to save her kids.
Yeah, and I think not even just, putting their own life at risk, but I just think about all the things that moms go without so that their kids can have. I know it was true in my life growing up that there are a lot of times that my mom, put her own wants or needs aside in order to make sure that we were taken care of. So, I think it's a common thing with moms. And you can really see it in her life too.
Well, speaking of that, people who sacrifice for their kids. Next, we move to number 2 on a good mom, Molly Weasley from Harry Potter.
She might be my favorite one on this list.
Everybody's favorite redhead. Now, like Captain Jamie said, Molly Weasley, that's the mom of Ron Weasley, for those of you who don't know. If you're that one person in the world who's never seen anything Harry Potter. No. Apparently poverty poverty affects Wizarding World, because like Captain Jamie said, the Weasleys are probably not the most well-off Wizarding family, and mom sacrifices and gives a lot so that they can have a normal childhood. Molly Weasley's not afraid to send a howler. If you've seen those parts of the movie,
listen,
when you mess up,
I would love it if that were a thing.
And you can send a howler at somebody. If you don't know any of this, what we're talking about, you got to Google all this later or YouTube.
A howler, I'll just tell you, a howler is like a little message where it records the person's voice and then it gets sent to them. So when their kids open it at Hogwarts, it's her voice yelling at them. You cannot escape it. It follows you.
It's like getting a verbal text, like the text bubble. What do we call those things?
Yeah, but you cannot control opening it or not with a text, right? You just don't have to open it. But the howler, the minute it gets to you, it opens and starts yelling.
Also, probably the hallmark of Molly Weasley, why she's a great mom, is she opens her family for Harry Potter, who Harry, of course, is an orphan. His mom and dad are killed. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that. But she opens her family for them. So again, Ma, as the representative mom here, Captain Jamie, how about that? How about opening your door for the orphans? I think that's a spiritual truth.
Yes, it is. I love Molly Weasley for a whole lot of reasons. And the thing too is, I think with Molly Weasley, we can underestimate her. And this happens a lot with women in general, I think, where we view them, we maybe don't always see them for everything that they are. A lot of the way through the movie, she's quote unquote just a mom, right? She's a mom. So you see her in the house, you see her taking care of the kids, you see her instructing them, you see her, like cleaning out Grimmauld Place and all that stuff. But you don't actually see how powerful she is in her own right. With her magical abilities until the last movie when she takes down Bellatrix Lestrange.
She says a bad word. We don't approve saying the bad words.
But partly because in that scene, Bellatrix Lestrange is battling with her daughter and two other young people who are like her children. And she's like, oh no, we are not going to have this. And so she comes in like a boss and takes care of the problem.
She very much is like a boss in that scene.
And I think in a little bit of the history, it briefly mentions it, but before she ever had kids, she was a member of the Order of the Phoenix and was, powerful in fighting off the Dark Lord and all that stuff on her own. But sometimes that happens. We reduce women, I say we, society, however, and think of them only as their motherhood and don't think about, all these other gifts and talents and abilities that they have. But, it always finds a way to come out and come in like a boss and take care of things.
I think that's some of the things we're addressing in Salvation Army culture is I think Salvation Army officers, married women officers can sometimes be relegated to just being mom. But man, they are powerful preachers and administrators and evangelists and fundraisers in their own right.
Yes. Yeah, I think the lesson here is let's not pigeonhole people. You can be more than one thing.
I have a Bible verse for Molly Weasley. Are you ready? If she went across the stage at graduation, Corps Cadet graduation, this is what it would be. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless as this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress. Captain Jamie, do you know what book of the Bible that's found in? It's found in the book of James. What's Harry Potter's dad's name? James. It's the Illuminati.
Okay, we're stretching like Mrs. Incredible here.
Hey, nice callback. Anything else on Molly Weasley before we move to number 3?
No, I just say don't underestimate the moms.
Good. Number 3. Again, not in any particular order. This is just good moms. All right. Kicking it old school here. Only 80s and 90s kids will be here. Elizabeth, I know when I sent this one out, I knew you were born in 1996. I believe you said, right? So
that's correct.
This is going to be Elizabeth's she's just gonna sit out on this one, right? Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show.
Talk about a boss lady.
Oh my. Okay, so first thing's this. So she's a good mom, obviously, a loving mom. She's got book smarts, street smarts. Elizabeth, we watched some YouTube clips, and Elizabeth said she's very classy, fashionable.
I loved this mom in the YouTube clips. She's my number 1 mom on this list.
Time magazine named Claire Huxtable America's favorite mom, which I think I have to agree. I mean, my own mom's pretty high up on the list, but but she's also, here's the thing we love about Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, Felicia Rashad. She's also a strict mom. She does not play. You do not play with her. And there was the first time in a lot of these a lot of TV shows where we saw equal parenting with dad. So it wasn't just like in the older shows, mom always did most of it, but this was one of the first times we saw equal parenting with dad. So,
and Claire Huxtable could snatch you up like no one else.
Oh my gosh.
Snatch you up, but then put you back together in a nice redemptive way.
And she had no problem. If you were a kid, you brought your friends over and your friends were out of pocket, she had no problem snatching up your friends too. I mean, there's just, if for you young kids out there who are listening to this, you have no idea who we're talking about. Ask a boomer who Claire Huxtable is, or Google it or YouTube it, and I think it'll blow your mind. I think you'll be amazed.
Yes. My mom was this kind of mom. She had no problem telling my friends what she thought.
You better.
Which as a teenager, I will tell you, I did not appreciate. But as a mother, I'm like, okay, I understand. I get it. These are the kids in my care. These are kids who are influencing my kids. And so we are going to talk about the things.
A child, a friend, a guest at the Huxtable house on The Cosby Show, you best come correct.
That's right.
Because if you don't,
if not, she'll correct it for you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. This last one on the good mom is on the bubble. Elizabeth sat out on Claire Huxtable, but she's about to jump all in on this one. So this is the last one we had on the good mom list, but some people have her on the bad mom list. So that's going to be up to you listeners to decide. We put her in the good moms. But here's the first one. Here's the name. Lorelai Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. Lorelai Gilmore. She's on this list for best mom. She's on the list for worst mom. Here's what I know about her. And this is all I know. And then Elizabeth, Captain Jamie, you guys take over. You run with this. She goes to family dinners reluctantly, right? She has to eat family dinners with her mom and dad and her daughter Rory every Friday.
Yeah, she does not get along with her parents.
And then here's the other thing.
Particularly her mom.
Here's why I think she's on the bad mom list. And you guys tell me if this is right, Craig. You can't date your kid's teacher. You can't date your kid's teacher. And as a lot of people were saying on the internet, you can't be best friends with your kids. Rory and Lorelai are like best friends. Kids don't need, that's said all the time. Kids don't need more friends. They need leaders. They need parents. All right, that's it. I'm sitting back. Captain Jamie, Elizabeth, Lorelai Gilmore. Discuss.
What do you think, Elizabeth? Do you think she's a good mom? Or where do you fall on the spectrum?
I think she is a good intentioned mother, maybe who lacks in some execution.
Yeah.
That's
such a nice way to put it.
That's such a great way to put it, Liz. It's so smart.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And if you look on the internet, you will see, particularly on Reddit, there are many, many, many strong-held opinions on whether Lorelai Gilmore is actually good. The thing is, I think that she's relatable. That's the thing I appreciate about her. Definitely, she did not always make the right decisions. And I think you're right, Matt, in that she was probably too... not just friendly, but almost treated Rory like a peer instead of her child. Whereas sometimes Rory, it seemed like Rory is parenting Lorelai.
Oh.
Like, which one's the mom? I don't know.
Yes,
but
Jesus.
the thing is I think that's actually, that happens sometimes, and it can be very tempting to want your kids to like you and for them to be your friend and all these kind of things. So I think that while there are problems with Lorelai, we have problems with it because probably she reminds us of ourselves.
Captain Jamie came to preach today.
It's realistic, I think, is the thing. Also, I read this one article about why she's so problematic, and I'm like, wow, this person is really reaching, because one of the reasons they said she was problematic is because she lets her kid eat Pop-Tarts. And I'm just saying, if that makes you a bad mom, then I really am terrible.
All right, Elizabeth. Sorry.
I was just going to say, my kids don't only eat Pop-Tarts, but definitely has the occasional Pop-Tart. So maybe I'm only occasionally bad.
All right, Elizabeth, go off right now.
I'm more alarmed about the Pop-Tarts. I love Pop-Tarts.
Let me just make a case for eating family dinners, eating meals with your kids. I looked this up just to come out. Statistics and studies show that if you eat meals with your kids grow up to be healthier, better grades, emotionally stronger, mentally stronger, and less stressed. And also, on a side note, you save lots of money when you eat at home with your kids. So Lorelai Gilmore, she went to those family dinners reluctantly. Sketch. Sus. All right. We're moving.
Listen, this is definitely one of those things that parents feel strongly about, and kids are like, why is this a thing?
Yep.
We do try to eat at the table for dinner just about every night. But usually our kids are like, can't we just watch TV while we eat? We're like, no, we have to talk to each other. Why? Why do we have to talk to each other?
And these studies that show this say, even if it's one meal, 1 day a week, 1 meal a week has definite benefits. All right. Well, we talked about good moms. Now we flip to the other side of the pillow, the shady side. All right. And
this list is shorter, but I think it could definitely have been longer.
Bad moms. There's a lot of bad moms out there. Again, I had to cut because I was just trying to think, who would our listeners know? So number 1, apparently she's the number 8 most hated character on Grey's Anatomy.
The number 8?
Number 8.
Number 1?
I didn't get that far. I gave up after number 8. Ellis Gray, Meredith Gray's mom. All right. As I understand it, now I know, Captain Jamie, you're a Grey's Anatomy fan here. Elizabeth, are you a Grey's Anatomy fan?
I don't like hospital shows.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about this last time. Hospital cop shows, you're out.
Yep. No thanks.
Okay, Ellis Gray. She's a workaholic. She's like the world's famous surgeon. Gosh, world famous is my word today. I've said that 5 times. She's a workaholic. She always puts her work before family. And then she told her daughter, your ordinary.
Yeah, she's like, there. Yes, she said, "Imagine my surprise when I wake up to find you're nothing but ordinary."
Captain Jamie,
Savage.
tell us about Ellis Gray. Was she?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. She is definitely a terrible mother. There really are no redemptive qualities. I mean, she's an excellent surgeon, so she, did a good job imparting that kind of wisdom on her daughter Meredith. Certainly left her a legacy in that regard, but did very little to no actual mothering. And what she did do was pretty terrible. And then we find out later that she kind of messed over her best friend so that she could, get all of the credit and win an award. And so she just wasn't.
And she cheated on her husband too, didn't she?
Yeah, there's lots of cheating on all the peoples in that show.
That's true.
So
that's true.
It's all around.
Ain't nobody loyal. And
that's right.
Sloan Grace Memorial Seattle Death Hospital or whatever they call it. So.
Yeah, like if this show teaches us anything, it's how not to be a good partner to someone else. So, but yes, Ellis Gray definitely should not go anywhere on a good or things to admire about mothers list.
Ellis Gray is a doctor, so I got a Bible verse for her too. Captain Jamie, you ready?
Sure you do.
Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. And Ellis Gray crushes people's spirits.
That's right. I definitely think that you could say that she's drying up some bones.
All right, next on the bad mom. This one, people are going to probably fight us on, and that's okay.
No, listen, I have all the rationale for this one.
All right, let's go. This is Lorraine Mcfly. This is Mom from Back to the Future, the original.
Possibly one of the, if not the greatest movie trilogy.
It is. I would say so, yeah. One of the greatest trilogies.
Back to the Future, one of my all-time favorites.
For sure. McFly, before they altered history in the first one, she likes alcohol, tobacco, and she's angry at her husband for being weak all the time. And then once they go back in time, I don't know if you can get a good mom award when you say that your own son is a dream and you start hitting on your own son.
Yeah, like obviously she doesn't know. She doesn't know at the
time
that that's her son. She thinks
Calvin Klein. She thinks
he's Calvin Klein. She doesn't know that it's her son, but she definitely tries to make out with him, which is very problematic. Don't make out with your children.
Note for what you can't see on the visual is we've just blown Elizabeth's mind. She's just standing over here, mouth wide open.
Well, you're saying this, and that is the clip that I watched, and I had no context for this. I didn't know that was her son.
Yeah, her son goes back in time, and she hits on her own.
Yeah,
son.
She thinks he's a dreamboat. Then, yes, in fact, in the time when she is meant to be falling in love with her husband, she's falling in love with her son. And the whole time he's like, no, not me, him, the other guy. And so, it's fun, but also gross.
She does.
And then also later in the other alternate timeline, she marries a man who tries to murder her son. So
fair.
Just come on, Lorraine, we got to make better choices.
Her only redemptive value, I think I could give her a little bit, is she does worry about her children a lot. But is worrying about your children a good mom, or is that's just all moms pretty much in general?
Well, she says that she marries Biff because in order to take care of him so that her kids aren't further harmed and stuff. But two wrongs don't make a right, Lorraine. And we can see that when he tries to shoot him off the roof of his casino, hotel, or whatever it is.
Okay, so if you're going to write us and yell at
choices, Lorraine.
If you're going to write us and say that Lorraine McFly is a good mom, just remember you're going to be defending a woman who tried to make out with her own son. All right.
Yes, probably not defensible.
Last bad mom, and this one is a doozy.
Oh, yes.
Mama.
This movie. I love it.
Mama Fratelli from the Goonies.
Elizabeth, have you seen the Goonies?
I have no clue, but I read up on her on the internet.
You have got
you got to watch the Goonies.
It is to watch
the Goonies.
All right, it's good to know.
She helps her son escape from jail. She's a murderer. They're counterfeiters. Everything, their child abuse, anything bad a woman can do, that's Mama Fratelli.
She locks her son Sloth. She chains him down to a chair.
She slaps her kids around.
Yes, her
sweetheart.
Yes, her son is has some disfigurement and disabilities because she dropped him.
She dropped him
multiple times as a baby.
I think Sloth
at least
says
that's
it
what she
best.
says.
Sloth says it best in the movie when he goes, "Mama," or whatever. I'm trying to do my Sloth voice. I can't do it. You've been bad. That if your own kid,
when your own child is
says,
like, you're terrible.
You've been bad. And she also says these two words, and she has this line in the movie Goonies. She says, "Kids suck." So I don't think you can be a good mom at all when you say that.
She also plays favorites. She definitely prefers one child. I mean, we all know Sloth's not her favorite because she chains him to the floor in the basement.
Yeah.
But she has favorites between her other kids. Francis.
I can't remember
what
the
other
third
one's
one.
name is off the top of my head. Yeah. But he's the one always singing opera music. So yes, Mama Fratelli.
But she always wears that black dress.
Bad.
She rocks that black dress, that black
and that little hat,
black beret, pearl necklace, stockings. She comes to play. But yeah,
she's the devil,
right.
the mother devil.
So that was our bad moms. Now here's the last three we're going to hit up here. These are what we're going to consider on the fence moms. So we're going to argue it out. We're going to have, and then here's what we got to do, Elizabeth and Jamie. We have to say at the end, good mom or bad mom. You must choose a side. Ready? Here we go. The first, we're going to talk about Marge Simpson. Marge Simpson from The Simpsons. She runs her house. She don't play. She gave up her dreams of being an artist for her kids. But she does question her daughter's belief when her daughter says she's not a Christian anymore. She wants to be a Buddhist. She questions her daughter's belief, tries to win her back through subterfuge. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. All right. And then she also lets her husband choke out her son. Right. So
yes.
Marge Simpson, what do you think? Make a case. Good mom, bad mom. Let's make a case for Run the Horn. What do you think, Captain Jamie?
I'm on the fence on this one.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I know you said we can't.
No.
We have to choose. Also, I would say, Matt, I don't think that you can say. I mean, I don't. Maybe I missed where you were landing on this. But
I try to give you a little of both.
Feeling sad that your child has made different religious choices than you. I don't think is bad parenting. I think that's good parenting. But it's all in the way that you go about trying to draw them back in.
Yeah, she tries to like, trick her back into it.
Yes,
so.
You can't trick your kids into loving Jesus. You just. Also, I would just say there are lots of things going on in that house that are probably not very Christ-like. So maybe Marge, think about the example you're setting. This is going way down a bad hole.
All right. So we're going to put Jamie down for bad mom. Okay.
Yes. No, I think that given what she has to work with, Marge Simpson is doing the very best that she can. Here, I'll say this. This is a side note. This has nothing to do with moms and everything to do with people who make television. Can we stop with the stupid dad trope? Like, why does the dad always have to be a dumb, idiot who makes all these bad choices and tries to wreck these things? Why? I don't understand how men are okay with this representation of themselves in every television show. We're like, dads are the dumbest and all this kind of, I just don't understand why you people are okay with this. And I know you're okay with it because you watch it all the time and it makes me crazy.
We're too dumb to notice.
So I'm just saying, men, demand better for yourselves. And Marge is really doing the best she can because Homer is just terrible.
All right.
Like, there's only so much she can do.
Elizabeth, how about you? What do you think?
I heard choke son and I was on bad mom team.
I'm going to say, I think I'm going to put her on good mom, again, doing the best that she can.
Her intentions are good.
Next, Wanda Romanoff, better known as the Scarlet Witch from Marvel Universe. WandaVision just came out. She has 2 twins who just appear, but these kids turned out to be figments of her imagination as she's trapped by her grief for her own children. Her kids grow quickly and she does care for them and take care of them. And for her husband. I'm sorry. She has grief for her husband, right?
Yeah.
But she puts the kids to sleep as the thing that's going to erase her children. The wall grows closer and closer to her kids. When I see that scene, what I think about? Titanic. When the mom is putting her kids to sleep and the water starts rushing in. Lord help us.
Oh,
So-
that's the tears part. That and when the old people are clutching each other.
Oh,
Then you're like,
don't do
I
that.
can't with this stupid movie.
don't do that to us.
Listen, if your kids aren't real, are you a mom?
Hey, I don't make the rules.
Well, you put together the list, so you do make the rules.
Wanda Romanoff, good mom, bad mom.
Listen, I think that she was a good mom to fake children.
Okay. I agree. I'll say
that
good mom too.
You can argue that she's not great because of she like trapped all those people in that fake reality because of her own grief. But grief is such a huge thing that I think we have to be careful how we deal with people who are going through those things. Obviously, you cannot harm other people in your own grief. That's not okay ever. But I mean, I get how, she's lost so much, not just her husband, her brother, her parents. Her life is pretty much in shambles. So I can see how that much loss would drive you a little bit insane. So I think her kids are not real. They are fake. But while they were with her, she was good to them.
Elizabeth, how about you? Good mom, bad mom?
It's my understanding that this character is played by Elizabeth Olsen.
It is correct.
Yes.
And we not only share the first name, but she is an Olsen, so she's got to be a good mom.
That's right.
By nature of the name being Elizabeth. That's
Yeah,
it.
duh.
All right.
Listen, I will say, Elizabeth Olsen crushes it as
Yeah.
Wanda
Let's
Romanoff.
go, girl.
I think
it's fantastic.
let's put this down in the notes for future. We could probably do a whole episode of the podcast of how WandaVision addresses the 7 steps, I think it is, of grief. On those episodes. So,
and listen, it gave us a fantastic quote. It was all over my social media feeds, and she said, "What is grief but love persevering?" I don't know who wrote that, but they should have got a bonus.
All right, last one. Elizabeth is jumping in. She's ready for this because 90s kids will know. Kate McAllister is also known as the mom from Home Alone. So here's the case to be made. It's a pretty hard hurdle to get over. But you left your kid in the United States of America when you were flying to Paris for Christmas vacation. Now, before you guys come at me, I see you both queuing up. She did notice that her kid was gone while she was on the plane. And then here's the good things about her. So that's a pretty heavy hurdle. The good things. She literally has to take care of everything. She's the only thing holding that family together. She's got the tickets. She has to pay the pizza guy. She has all of those. She's got to get everybody up and make sure all that stuff is done. And then the last case people said about her is, look at that house. That lady knows how to decorate because that Home Alone house is legit. All right. So make the case. Good mom, bad mom, Kate McAllister from Home Alone.
I am so much on the good mom team. She is just overwhelmed.
She left her kid,
right.
Elizabeth. She left her kid.
Matt, you said she gets to have her opinion.
No, I'm just trying to poke the bear that is Elizabeth.
Unpokable.
Listen, watching Home Alone as an adult hits on a whole different level than it does when you watch it as a kid. When you're a kid, you're just like, oh, Kevin McAllister, he beats the bad guys and stuff. Now I watch it as an adult and I'm like, there are so many issues in this movie that I would just like to sit down and discuss with the parents of Kevin McAllister. First of all, I'm not going to say she's a terrible mom, but Uncle Frank is a jerk.
Get him.
And should not be allowed to be around children. And if Uncle Frank were my husband's brother, he would not be allowed to come to family functions.
When you say
because
to
you
children,
do not get to talk to my children that way.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yes, you get to be like, yes, you need, kids. It takes a village and all of that kind of stuff. But you don't get to just come in and be downright horrible to the kids. We don't do that. You can sleep outside on the porch.
Elizabeth voted good mom. So Jamie, I think I'm hearing you're saying good mom as well.
I have more reasons.
I know. Keep going. But I just need a vote from you. Keep going though.
Yes. So there's that. They left. I mean, her kid disappears twice on family vacation. How many family vacations can we lose Kevin McAllister from? There's a Home Alone 3, right?
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one.
It's a different kid.
Oh, is
Not
it?
as
Okay.
good.
Okay. But is it the same family?
We can lose them as many times as it's needed to make some money.
Yes. I mean, obviously it was a smash hit. And so they're going to keep it going. So yes, keep track of your children. Also, Kevin is a problematic kid. He talks to his mom. Listen, his mom needs to channel her some Claire Huxtable and take care of his attitude.
That's true.
And then we would have some correction. But again, I think that she's a good mom who needs some help. She is overwhelmed. Maybe, I don't know what dad is doing. Neither one of them, we don't know what their jobs are, but she needs like a nanny
The dad had one job.
Something to come in and an assistant or something.
Yeah, his job was to shut the garage doors before they left for Christmas vacation, and he didn't do it. Okay.
So like, dad, pitch in a little.
What's it going to be, Jamie? Good mom, bad mom?
Good mom. She needs help.
Okay. I say good mom as well, but you're right. That family is a piece of work. All right. Well, last thing before we wrap up the Mom's Day, happy Mother's Day, Mom, before we say a final farewell to you, is we do want to talk about this surprising thing happened. Statement was said in the news. So because of the coronavirus, all right, 25 years of women in the workplace disappeared pretty much in the span of 1 year because of the coronavirus. Moms left the workforce to go and take care of their kids during quarantine. I think at one point, at the peak of quarantine in this country, 95% of the country was on stay-at-home orders. And that meant a lot of moms had to stop working and go home. And I didn't know this, but go ahead, Jamie, jump in. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was reading an article earlier this year that said that more than 2.3 million women left the labor force from February of 2020 to February 2021, which far exceeded the number of men that left the workforce. But I think that we also need to acknowledge that even within this group of women of color were disproportionately affected. And like you said, you were right, Matt, in that same article, I think it was from Fortune magazine, said that we've lost 3 decades of labor force gains in less than a year because of all the women who have either their jobs were, taken away or had to step out in order to take care of their families.
46% of women, when they were working, before the coronavirus, 46% of the women who were working in low-paying jobs like wait staff and things like that. So when those women, even those women who were in low-paying jobs, when they left, that has ripple effects into everything else, the economy, into taxes, into government assistance, and then to what the Salvation Army deals with, not only souls, but trying to meet human need, poverty. The need grows greater when people have less.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's tough to reconcile. And like in January alone, 80% of the people who stopped working were women. That is a huge number. And so certainly every person has been affected by Corona. There's not a person out there who hasn't been affected in some way, but women really took it on the chin. It's not just in the workforce, but also, now you're becoming a teacher and your kids are home with you. I saw my sister sent me a meme the other day that said, "I'm really tired of binge watching my kids." So, it's just so much, that moms are having to deal with now. So all that to say, check on the moms in your life. Check on them, see how they're doing, see how you can support them. It's tough right now trying to maintain your job, even those who have the privilege to be able to telecommute and are keeping their jobs, but still having to try to do that while, making sure their kids are going to virtual school and keeping everything else running. And we're getting into 13 months now. It's a long time for all of us to be going through this. So let's just love each other, check on each other, see how everybody's doing. Just reach your arms out, reach out your hands.
I would say too, and just like this will be the last thing that I have to say on this too, is I'm not a mom, obviously, but I think there's a lot to be said about moms feeling what I call mom shame, or what people call mom shame, on social media. You see all these other moms on Pinterest, on Instagram, who are doing who are doing like, oh, my children are not eating Cheetos. They're eating kale chips every day that I dry out in the sun for them. And then we have craft time, and I have them home spin 100% Egyptian cotton and they turn it into, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up at this point. But there's this thing where like moms are judging themselves based on other moms that they see on social media, and they feel guilt, lot of mom guilt. So knowing that, Captain Jamie, here's my last question to you. Because again, you're the representative mom here. What are some things people can do this Mother's Day to, number one, help with the mom shame, the mom guilt, and two, to help women as they get back into the workplace and as they just like feel like they're those women who worked a lot and then the coronavirus sent them home, like what can they do for that? What's a practical application to wrap that up?
Well, I just think that, in the same way that we talk to young girls or even young people on a whole about the comparison game and how damaging it is when you play that comparison game, with young people, we talk about it in regards to body shaming and body positivity and things like, influencers and the amount of money they appear to have and all the products they appear to have, and how, all of that is hidden. There's so much more that goes into that you don't see, right? Like there's Photoshop and there's filters and there's, PR lists where people get sent stuff. So they're not actually affording and buying all these things. And the truth is that it's that same principle for moms. We don't see everything that's going on behind the scene. I follow this mom on Instagram. Her name's Jenny Reimold. And one of the things that she always does is she'll show you her perfect tablescape, but then she'll also turn the camera around and you can see the gigantic, she has 7 kids, I think. So there's like 9 people's worth of laundry piled up, but we're just off camera where you can't see it. And so she's like, look, it's easy to look at this and think, man, this lady has it all together, but I'm only showing you the part of my home that I want you to see. You can't see that 99% of the rest of my house looks like a bomb went off. And so we have to remember, that not everything you see out there, even people in your real life, you don't really know what's going on inside their house. They may appear to have it all together, but we can't let comparison be the driving force in our life. Also, it's a good indicator to remember because we can't say anything. Some of our friends might be hurting in ways that we don't know or understand. So again, like have grace with yourself, have grace with each other. Check on your friends, check on the moms in your life, and just see like, how are you really doing? Because while it appears that everybody has it all together, none of us have it all together. We just don't.
All right. Well, before we get to our last question, the giving you joy question, let's just all of us real quick. Maybe I think all of our moms, Elizabeth, Jamie, and myself would want to hear us just say something to mom. So to Major Mary Satterlee, who right now is cringing because I said her name out loud, in charge of risk management in the Southern Territory, I love you. Thanks, Mom, for being my mom. Go ahead, Captain Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm going to shout out my mom, Major Lori Barnhouse. My mom is amazing in so many ways. There are many things that I could point to in my life that are a direct result of who she was and what she did. Matt would say both of us tell it like it is, which I'm sure he appreciates, right, Matt? Both of us I got my competitive card sharkness from my mom. But my mom has been in my life an example of perseverance and strength and faith and trust, even when the road seems dark. And so I love you, Mom. Shout out to my mom.
All right, Elizabeth, give your mom a shout out.
Oh, shout out to Christine.
Christine in Rhode Island. Christine in Rhode Island.
Yeah, by the D&D.
We know exactly where that is. No, I don't.
There's so many of them.
I would love to meet your mom, Elizabeth. Is your mom like you?
Oh, Christine.
Are you like your mom, I guess?
I think I'm more like my dad, but maybe as I get older, I'm more like my mother.
Listen, I get that.
Well, happy Mother's Day to Christine, to Lori, to Mary, to all the moms out there. Thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for being our heroes, really. All right, Cam Jamie, last question.
Yes. Okay, Elizabeth, what is bringing you joy?
What's bringing me joy is my favorite pastime of all, shuffleboard.
Whoa.
I have such fond memories of playing it, and I long to play it again. And so it just makes me so happy.
Like every time we do a podcast, we learn something more about Elizabeth. Tap. Now she does shuffleboard.
I love. I don't know where to play shuffleboard though. Where do I find a shuffleboard court?
That's true. Listen, you need to move to Florida. They got those shuffleboard courts every 30 feet in Florida.
Up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Have I seen a shuffleboard court since we moved to Virginia?
Not
I don't know if we
Virginia,
have or
I don't
not.
think so.
Could I set one up in my apartment? Could I just, I don't know.
I think you could. What kind of floors do you have?
Players got to play. It's like fake wood.
Oh yeah, definitely. You just get some painter's tape. You got to find your little puck and a little broom, and then you just.
Do you have neighbors that live below you?
I do.
Invite them to play.
Friends. Or convert the hallway. Right. There we go.
That's right. Convert the hallway.
Love that.
And y'all could just play against each other. I've got one. So keeping in line with Lorelai Gilmore, recently we started watching Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney Plus with my kids. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was super skeptical when I first heard this was coming out because I loved the Mighty Ducks as a child. And I was like, oh, no, they're not. They're going to ruin my childhood with this show. But then we started watching it, and it is actually very cute. We are very much enjoying it. The lady that plays Lorelai Gilmore, her name has left my head. Lauren something. Lauren Graham. Yes. Lauren Graham also plays a mom in Mighty Ducks Game Changers. And it is just the cutest. It's the cutest little show. We're very much enjoying it. We watched it last night listen, my oldest daughter now is too cool to hang out with us. Although she did stay and watch part of it. But we watch it every week with my youngest daughter, and we are just enjoying it together. So yes, that's my joy. Matt, do you have joy?
Yep. For me, I think I might have said this a couple episodes ago, but if I did, forgive me. I need to just reiterate it. But what's given me a lot of joy is that it's youth council season in the Salvation Army. There are lots of youth events taking place in the spring all over the country as kids begin to, churches and the kids come out of the coronavirus a little bit and have some opportunities just to meet together sometimes in some small groups, socially distanced. And it's just nice to see life getting back to normal. And just youth council is a time where the weather changes, it gets warmer, summer's coming, school's getting ready to end. It's just a great milestone. So that's what's giving me joy right now, is just to see all of those youth councils happening across the country. Moms, we love you. Thank you so much. That's going to end this episode of the Battle Line podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Battle Line wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, don't forget to always check out the Peer website, peermag.org. There's great stuff on there. And follow Peer on the socials at peer.magazine. And lastly, we have a sister podcast called the Fight for Good podcast that has to do with the war cry. So if you're interested in that, check them out. Until next time, this has been the Battle Line podcast. We love you, moms. Thank you so much. Bye.
See ya.